I'm trying to put me on here in two places so I can, and I may not even be able to do that while I'm driving. I probably better stop. Good morning, everybody. As you might be able to tell, Brenda and I are on the road again. Actually, on the road for the first time.
No.
And we are going to attempt to do a live stream on the road. My significant other will have to be the one to do all the typing and reading. And I was pulling up my... And there's the Red Riders in the sky. So I was just telling Mark that originally this was going to be a great pumpkin thing. And what I was telling you, Mark, is every state pretty much has a giant pumpkin competition way off now. Ohio, it's really big in some states. Ohio, Tennessee, Kentucky, probably the Carolinas. I think the last couple of years, the biggest pumpkin in the country, actually the biggest pumpkin in the world, has come
Alaska.
out of,
Alaska, probably.
No, that's where I think that's where these seeds come from, because they call these giant pumpkin as a cultivar, I guess. And the seeds, they sell the seeds out of them. Of course, they're worth to some people. They're worth a lot of money. I think the largest pumpkin currently on record came out of Ohio last year, and I think it weighed a little over 2,000 pounds. That's a big pumpkin, buddy.
Well, I know they grow them up out of Cody, Wyoming.
Yeah,
which is pretty low elevation for Wyoming. I mean, it's, I don't know, 2,500 feet or something up there, and they're growing pumpkins that are like 900 pounders.
Well, they're getting there. That's what.
And they have figured out the grizzly bears really like pumpkins.
Of course they do.
So there was an outfit up there that had like a corn maze and pumpkins, and did the whole Halloween thing. And they had a sow grizzly with her 3 yearling cubs living in the corn maze. They were hiding out in the corn maze and eating pumpkins. and that, like, okay, little kid, like, so let's see you get through that corn maze.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to flip the phone or the camera
to look at all the traffic.
Well, you can see the scenery, but also notice the atmospheric conditions this morning were pretty foggy when I got out of bed.
Fog is very heavy this morning.
But it's lifted.
Huh?
It's lifted, though.
It is lifting. It's not. It's heavier above. I don't know if you can tell that, but yeah, I thought I'd put this on because in just a little bit we're going to turn off here and drive down and get a little bit more countrified off the interstate. So, and there's the newest thing from Ford Motor Company, and they call that a Maverick. And when I grew up, maybe when you grew up, there were cars called Mavericks.
Yeah, so my buddy Danny had one, and you had to reach through the steering column, kind of through the steering wheel and over the column, and reach over and grab the gear shift with your left hand just to get it to start.
You had to pull it up so the switch made contact.
So you pulled that shifter up, and then you could start it.
That's how. I don't know. Did yours do that too? Seems like yours did that. Brenda owned one for a little while. She was so embarrassed. I thought it was kind of cool because it was the newest car. I never had a new car. This was your Maverick.
Oh yeah, my first car.
Her first car was a 4-door Maverick. Her daddy bought her, and she didn't like it. She was embarrassed.
And it was brand new?
almost.
No.
The newest thing I'd ever been around. And of course, we weren't married yet, so it wasn't mine anyway. But I thought it was cool that she had an almost new car. But that didn't pan out in the long run, and so she ended up talking her daddy into taking it and trading for a Camaro.
Seriously?
Seriously, yeah, seriously.
And that car would run.
Yeah,
So
but
you were the rich kid.
No, not really.
I don't think so. I think back then it was probably taking everything she and or we had to pay for it. Because we did end up, we got married. We were still paying for that one when we got married.
How are you soaking wet?
So Maple Bacon, where are we going? You asked that question. I was explaining to Mark that originally we were going to go to the Great Pumpkin Way Off down in Allert, Tennessee. And I highly recommend you check it out online. They've got a web page. Facebook's got them. And it's become a big deal. They have the Allert. Of course, they have the Pumpkin Queen. And it's a great place to get barbecue. And they've got pumpkin rolls and pumpkin bread. But they weigh all the pumpkins from Tennessee, and some of them come out of Kentucky, and if they're big enough pumpkins, they actually will haul them all the way from Ohio down here to get them weighed, just to get them weighed in a different state. And there's interesting things about growing giant pumpkins. As soon as you cut the stem and bring them out of the field, they start losing weight. So they stick them, they put them upside down, or somehow they'll put water on the stem. They'll let the stem soak so that it don't dry out so quick. And of course, every once in a while they catch somebody cheating. But we decided not to go up there because, as Phil pointed out to me, he said you won't be able to live stream because you probably won't be able to get a telephone signal up there. And I realized he's probably right. So I decided instead to try to drive around to some of the areas that got flooded and just ride around a little bit and see if we could do a mobile stream. And if we could, how it turned out. So what we're doing right now is heading down I-40. We're still on I-81 heading south towards I-40. Now, I-40 has been in the news this week, if you've been watching it, because it's washed out. You can't go. I-40 is the main route from Tennessee into North Carolina.
Well, how many eyes do you have now?
How many eyes?
Yeah, did they turn 81?
Well, this is Interstate 81. We still got the Highway 81 that you know.
Oh, because it's gone.
Well, part of it is, yeah.
The part we lived on is gone.
Yeah, part where we fished all the time.
Where we were spent most of our time, it's completely gone. I don't see how they'll ever replace it.
Time will tell what they. I mean, that.
Well, we're going to have to use a lot of dynamite on that rock face to make it.
Yeah, they will. And that's
or
probably
what put a bridge, a big long 10-mile bridge in, I guess.
So we're going to drive down to Newport, Tennessee first. Newport is one of several little, what I'd call, I guess, kind of the quintessential East Tennessee, North Carolina mountain town in a way. They're right in the middle of a valley or a river bottom, creek bottom. There's not much there anymore. If they don't have it, if they don't do tourism, there's not a lot left there. Newport has a couple of things going for it. That's where Bush's Baked Beans operates out of.
Well, that's the official home of cornhole.
Cornhole.
Is it really? Well, I mean, if Bush's Baked Beans is who's sponsored.
Oh yeah, that's right.
All those cornhole tournaments that you're like turn it to the sports channel, and they're either playing poker or pitching cornhole.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
And you got a boy like drinking a beer and chucking his cornhole bags,
There's something just, and I still have trouble saying that without laughing.
and I have great admiration for their skill while they're slugging down a bunch of Milwaukee's best or something.
Oh, mercy. Let's see. Is this my exit?
I don't know. I don't know where
No,
you are.
I'm trying to make sure I go the right way here, and I don't have my map pulled up. I mean, I know these roads, but I don't usually go this way, so I'm trying to make sure I don't miss it.
You didn't just say that.
Say what?
That you didn't have your map pulled up.
Well, I did say that. I did say that only because I don't want to miss my turn. I don't usually go this way. I usually go a different way, back way. And if I was going that way, I wouldn't need my map.
Well, that looks like an exit coming up real soon.
Yeah, it is, and that. I think I want to go down to the next exit though.
Well,
So
they got a McDonald's. You need to swing in. Maybe they had a Hardee's there too. Grab you a steak biscuit while you're and eat it right in front of me. Oh, you sucker!
We've already done that.
you devil.
The steak biscuit. I've got an extra for you though. It's in the back seat. I went ahead and ate mine because I knew eating it.
They don't even hot or cold. They're just great.
I didn't want to eat it in front of you, but I thought I did. I would have.
So how's come Carl's Jr.'s, which we have out here, we don't have Hardee's, but they have that exact. They're owned by the same people and have that exact same logo. How come they don't have steak biscuits?
I don't know, because back here the Hardee's actually say and Carl's Jr. and you can buy certain things that I assume come from Carl's Jr. Like, I mean, me and you didn't grow up in a Hardee's where they had burritos or tacos or anything like that.
Right.
But they do now. But that's not they still serve all their main things, hamburger. Honestly, breakfast is still Hardee's biggest meal back here. I mean, they have to be the most popular breakfast place you can eat in this part of the country. There's always a line, and the parking lot, and most of them are full, and most of them are farmers. You'd be surprised every Saturday morning.
Eating steak biscuits.
Eating steak biscuits or gravy biscuits. They all gather at the local Hardee's and sit around and talk about the weather and how much feed for cattle costs, and how much they're getting for tobacco this year if they still grow it.
What the pork belly market's going to look like.
Yeah, what the pork belly market's going to look like. It took me a long time to figure out that pork belly thing. Now, I can't see chat, so if you guys ask something, Brenda will have to tell me, or Mark, or because I can't do that. I could try, but I don't think it'd work out very well.
You sent Mike those Bigfoot pictures.
Oh, Mike, I started to. No, I did. Mike, did you get the Bigfoot pictures or not?
Bigfoot pictures?
Yeah. We went to a place one day last week down in Morristown.
This week.
It was this week, but this is Saturday, so now that's last week to me. Anyway, it was a used antique kind of place, and they had a couple of bookshelves for sale. And I'm still trying to outfit the library and trying not to spend everything I've got on it. So they went down there to look at the bookshelves, and damn it, they had 3, and 2 of them were already sold. But anyway, while I was in, as it turns out, when we got there, the name of the place was you remember what he called it? Bigfoot's used flea market, used furniture or something like that. And he had a big sign up with a Bigfoot looking guy, but he had like a human face with a beard and really long hair. And when you walked down the sidewalk, there were like giant footprints leading you into the building. So Brenda took a couple of pictures for me so I could send them to Mike.
That's fun. It's funny you're talking about Bigfoot because the kids last night, we got the whole grandbaby posse, except for the littlest one. And they wanted a scary story.
No.
So Uncle Sam, Dad Sam, and Grandpa Z started telling them about the Opal Howler, which is a Bigfoot type creature based off of the Fontanelle Howler, which is kind of a local Bigfoot that people talk about around here.
Yeah.
And we got about maybe 45 seconds or a minute into that story and talking about how it howled and things. And Owen was like, well, I'm out. And then I spent the next 5 minutes with him in my lap saying, it's okay, buddy. There's no howler. Look at that gorgeous thing. Come here. Where'd you go? They missed your beads.
Yeah, she's got beads in her hair. I don't know if I can make it any bigger or not. Hang on a minute. I'm in a stop
What are you
sign.
doing?
I'm just gonna see if I can make this any larger.
Which any larger?
Oops. The screen so we can see it. It doesn't matter on your end, but on our end it's all right.
Oh, yeah.
So what I didn't do, Mike, if Mike's still here, what I didn't realize until it was too late was we were talking to this guy and his wife that run this little store. I'm assuming he's Bigfoot. I don't know, but he said they were closing their shop down. So he ended up selling me some shelves that are actually currently being used. He said, we're going to get rid of everything. I said, well, how much for these shelves? So he made me a price, and I'm going to go back and get them in a couple of weeks. But he...
So he's just closing business?
Yeah, he said they're not making enough money on the store to pay the rent by selling stuff, but...
It's $4,000.
Yeah, it's $4,000 a month, which I thought for where it was at and the town it's in is absolutely outrageous. I don't know where the hell they come up with that number. But I also see why he probably couldn't pay the bill. But in October 1st, they have their version of a haunted house inside that store, and it's called Bigfoot's Cavern. And he said that since they opened up, I don't remember what day he said they actually opened. It was before the 1st. I think he said they'd already made enough money to pay the rent. He said if we could just do a haunted house year round, we'd be okay.
Well, they might be able to.
So, okay, is that picture good? Can you see, or is it really bad glare? We still got him?
Actually, I think he stepped away for a minute.
Anyway, guys, so where we're going now, Mike, instead of going to the Pumpkin Festival, I got sidetracked. Imagine that. We're going to go down and drive around the country a little bit in some of the areas that were flooded last week. The ones we can go to. And without being too intrusive or getting in anybody's way or doing anything like that, we're going to go down and just see what we can see. And I guess the first place we're going to go to is a little town called Newport. And Newport made the news last week when it was one of the first towns they evacuated or were going to evacuate because there was an imminent dam failure on the North Carolina side of the Pigeon River. And I just thought we'd try to drive through there. Newport used to be a little, I can't really describe it. It's like a little brick town that was just along the railroad tracks there originally. And as I said earlier, the biggest employer around there is Bush Beans. And back before Tennessee Valley Authority built Douglas Dam in the 40s during the war, the valley down through there along that river and the French Broad River was the largest legume producing part of the USA. And it was a big deal because, one, they wanted to shut it down, or they were going to flood it because they needed to build the dam for electricity for war production. But they also had to kind of come up with some compensation for the canned foods that were coming out of there that the military also used. So that little intersection we just passed, is White Pine, Tennessee. As you can tell, it wasn't too much. There wasn't much to it. A lot of these little places are just a fork in the road with a post office somewhere. And off in the distance there, you're kind of looking west towards Knoxville, or the town we used to live in, city. I mean, compared to everything else around here, that's a big town. I don't know how much you can see country-wise, but this is mostly farmland and with scatterings of houses, and kind of like where we're at least parts of this county. And this is, I believe we're in Jefferson County, is not too developed yet. So there's still a lot of open farmland. It gets cut up as usually what happens is the old farmer family dies out. The kids that inherit it don't want to farm anymore, so they figure out they can get rich if they chop it up and sell it into units for subdivisions, and that's usually what happens. And then after that, it's gone forever. So it's kind of nice to drive through these areas where there's still open land and farms that actually have signs on the roof that say Meadowbrook Farms. Now I'd pull the camera off and wave it around and show you some of that, but I don't want to make anybody car sick.
All the cows are under the trees.
And they're already moving to the shade. It's still it was really pleasant out this morning when I got up, but it's supposed to get up in the 80s, I think, for a couple more days this week. For the first time in a month or so now, we're supposed to have sunshine basically for the next 8 to 10 days, I think. And for the first part, the next couple of days, it's supposed to be in the 80s during the afternoons, which isn't really terrible. I mean, I can live with that much better than 90s. But then about Thursday or so, it's supposed to start dropping, and the lows are going to be in the low 40s, and the highs are going to be in the 50s or 60s, I think. Maybe the 70s. So
47 at night.
Yeah, 47 at night. Well, one night.
2 nights.
I saw 45.
Oh, better get out the big parka.
I'm looking forward to it.
Get the Whitney blankets out.
There you go. Yeah.
I got the witch with me.
You got the witch with you?
Yeah, you can't see it, I guess, but she
My
can be
goodness,
there.
it's scary.
Brenda can. I can't.
She's got her hat on.
She's got that look too.
Oh,
You're not saying that's an evil child, are you?
Woe be unto any boyfriends in the future. She'll burn them down.
Burn them down.
So, Mike, we have our furnace has kicked on, I don't know, half a dozen, 10 times here in the last few weeks. And we got it turned clear down where it's 62 or 60 or something. And our furnace has kicked on a few times. And we've had, every morning we have frost. It's that.
So, what's it getting up to in the daytime right now?
Oh, clear up in the upper 70s or low 80s.
So, in that respect, about the same as here, except you guys have less humidity.
Well, and we just have a bigger temperature swing typically. I mean, between cold and it's fall time in Wyoming now. The leaves are finally turning, and even some trees have already dropped all their leaves. So,
Well, I was telling Brenda that I have wanted to do do something like this when the color's on, when they start changing here.
now look how green it is.
I know. That's what I was saying. That right now it hadn't even begun to change. But it's the 1st of October, so if it does cool off this week, the days get shorter and shorter. I'd say within 2 weeks that it ought to be back. We ought to be back to, we ought to be getting some color pretty soon. Now I got another short stretch here where I'm going to hit Interstate I-40. We're going to go east towards North Carolina, but we can't actually go that far because all this interstate is closed down once you get over towards the state line.
Like mile marker 6 eastward.
Yeah.
It's gone. Or part of it is. I guess they've got the eastbound lane open.
They probably have it open. Well, they have one lane. They may be running both ways on one side.
A buddy of mine sent me a deal that they were able to start delivering supplies into North Carolina because they'd gotten the east lane open.
Now this is Douglas Lake, but can you see the trash down there in the lake?
No. Which lake are we over, Douglas?
Douglas, we're over Douglas right now, and you can't really tell it, but it's
just big logs and stuff.
There's big logs and big rafts of trash that are floating down the lake that came in, washed down the rivers. The Nolichucky feeds into this, which of course was really bad, and the French Broad River feeds into this, and Pigeon doesn't hit till a little bit further down. But anytime you have those kind of upriver floods in the highlands, every creek and everything up there flushes out. So all the trash and timber and down leaves and sticks and logs get washed down and end up on the lakes. Bodies.
Keeps the mountain good and clean.
Keeps the mountains clean. That's right. And
Mother Nature knows how to clean house.
And and a lot of that trash ends up down up against the dam face, and TVA used to have to go through there with what we called a rake boat, and kind of collect all that stuff and haul it off. It's amazing the vast amounts of
as my wife would say, gradu.
Do what?
My wife would say that's gradu.
Gradu.
That just junk, filth that accumulates on stuff.
Yeah, it does. I just saw a big house over there. That's what got my attention. You guys couldn't see me looking that way, but
Got him.
there was a squirrel, and why I looked was because I've never noticed that house, and it looked like the Quanah Parker house, Mark.
Like the Star House?
It was built like that. That shape, that
Not
design.
painted that way?
Say again?
Was it painted like that?
Well, kinda, but it didn't have the stars on it.
Oh, well, I was going to say, if it's got stars on it, go back and take some photos of it.
Well, I will if I get back by there. But no, it just looked kind of like that. It wasn't completely like that.
Okay. Just that kind of home, though.
Yeah, when I glanced over there, I thought, hell, there's the Quanah Parker house. And I said, no, that's not the Quanah Parker house. Can't be.
Now, that's starting to look a little better country now.
Do you see the next ridge over there?
I see mountains now.
Yeah.
Starting to feel the love.
Let's see here. I was going to tell something else. Another big tale.
So your video is showing looks pretty tame.
Yeah, we hadn't really got to the rough.
And folks, this part of the state is a disaster zone. Worse than it's been maybe in forever, or for a long time anyway.
Recorded history that we know of.
Yeah.
Where'd everything go, babe? Brenda cut the picture off. Hang on.
Craig, my buddy Craig Ponder sent out a deal, I think yesterday, about the place he walks. He's got a little road he's lived off of now for about 20 years.
Yeah.
And he's got a path he walks up the Nolichucky. And it was woods and fields and buttercups and beautiful country and squirrels and rabbits and whatnot. And it's just destroyed. It's just gone.
Not over here. Hang on just a minute, guys. We've got a technical difficulty here.
Uh-oh.
I touched something and lost you guys.
Brenda touched something and closed it. You're obviously still there because I can hear you, and I'm going to assume you can still see out, but we've lost all contact on the.
I see your video. It's kind of hesitating. Now it's getting.
Yeah, well, we're getting ready. I'm getting ready to get off the interstate right up here. So we'll be on more country-ish roads after.
I don't like you like when you leave and then I have to take over. I don't like that part, so don't do that.
Well, hopefully you're still seeing the
I
screen.
just sit here and I don't know what to say. I don't even know what we're talking about today.
We're talking about mostly whatever comes up next, but
you just squirrel it.
Bear with me just a minute longer.
I'm getting there.
Well, I'm getting ready to get off the highway. We're going to hit the back road now, and I see it. It's closed at 4:40. So I think
something. That sign told you something.
Yeah, that sign told me that the interstate closes up here in about 8 miles from here. We're at exit 432, and we're getting ready to get off the interstate and get into the country roads, the highways. We're getting ready to go into Newport. But 8 miles from here is as far as you can go on the interstate right now. I was reading information this morning about highways and what was open, what was closed, and that sort of thing. And most of the roads. I will. Yeah. Well, I was reading this morning that most of the stuff that's closed, they've just gone ahead and posted that it would be closed for at least the month of October, even if it's course, the bridges and stuff, and some of the roads, as you know, aren't going to be there at all because they're washed out. But they're not even saying anything's going to get worked on for a month, which I think is kind of crazy. And got you back. She just had she hit the wrong button.
Something and it went away.
But anyway, so there is a 4-lane road here that enters into Newport now from Sevierville, but we just go right down here, and then I'm hoping, and from what I could see this morning on the highway closure maps, we should be able to drive through Newport and probably get an idea how high the water was when it came rushing through town out of the Pigeon River.
There's some areas that it literally wiped everything out in its path.
Yeah,
it took it all.
There's a little place in North Carolina, not far from here, over the mountain, called Chimney Rock, which is kind of famous. I mean, it's a touristy thing, but it's been around for a long time. But the little town, the town itself wasn't that much. Chimney Rock was the mountain that people like to hike up and whatnot, and on. But the town, it's just gone. I saw some before and after pictures yesterday on that. Just well, there's a motorcycle guy up here in the middle of the road. Oh, nope. Looks like he dropped his
water bottles.
Water bottle. Yeah, we got a truck full. Bear with us, guys. We got an emergency vehicle up here hauling water to the rest of the world, and they dumped it.
They dumped it.
Yeah, apparently they didn't have it secure in the back of the truck, and it went flying everywhere.
Water?
Water, yep. Cases of bottled water.
Yeah, that's what they need right now.
Yeah, my buddy sent out a deal.
See the trailer right there? Is that on there?
Yeah.
That trailer I think it came off that trailer actually instead of the pickup truck. There's a lot of that going on right now. People are gathering water in different places and then hauling it in. Here's the trick to it, though. You can only take it so far. And then a lot of these little towns and communities are isolated. So sometimes you can get it up there on an ATV or a side-by-side. And then sometimes they're taking it in by helicopter. And then in other places, they're using pack mules.
Yeah. Which
was on the news. Actually, that made the national news a couple of days ago that pack mules are being used. There was a place where it looked like they might have been doing something. So there's all kinds of businesses now that have set up drop-off points and pickup points, and they're gathering water at different places and taking it in because almost none of these communities have water right now, or most of them don't. We went to Greenville a couple of days ago, which we'll end up that way today from a different route. But my aunt lives in Greenville, and I still have some cousins that live up there and that such and family, and they don't have water. They've been out of water now since last Friday. And if they do have water, of course, they're having to boil it. But most people don't have water at all. They just shut the pumps down, and then the pumps and the water at the stations got totally inundated. And of course, if you know what that means, the sewer plants and stuff also got washed down the river. So you know what's in the sewer plant, and it went, as they used to say, crap runs downstream. Well, that's exactly what happens. And a lot of these people, I talked to my aunt yesterday, or day before yesterday, and she said they had told them that they might start getting water either yesterday or today, but she said it would probably just be a trickle, and it may not last, all day long. So they just kind of have to take what they can get, and they still had to boil it. They're not wanting them to use it otherwise. So, oh wow, look at this place.
Oh my
Can you guys see out the side? I'm not going to stop.
Oh, you can't.
They're gathering. That's a stockyard of water and all kinds of other supplies. I can't stop right here. I'm just going to pull in here and kind of show this, guys, if you can see it without puking.
Lots of motorcycles.
It looks like a motorcycle club or group that's come in here probably to help. Can you see that ahead of me? The school buses up there and all that stuff.
Yep.
That's all supplies that are being gathered here in Newport. Probably for the local folk. Well, I see water, but I also see
your camera's pointing at the sky, guys.
Oh, sorry. How about now?
Yeah, get better.
Is that better?
Up a little.
Tell me when I'm pointing at the sky.
Here's the water.
Right there. Stop.
Down a little.
Yeah, you can see there's cases and cases of stuff over there.
What do you want? It's got lumber. This is boxes of.
Is that paper products or maybe cleanup supplies? I mean, it may sound silly, but just cleanup supplies. People are mopping mud out of their houses knee deep in places. Our friends that live up near the Nolichucky that my buddy Steve built and grew up, or not. Well, yeah, he did grow up there. They're mopping and pushing mud out of their house still, and all the bottom floor of their house got pretty much washed out. I'm guessing that if you can see over this way, there's school buses, and I'm guessing that's probably what they're hauling people back and forth, and probably these supplies. Oh, there comes a semi in from Walmart unloading stuff right now. Well, kudos to Walmart for pitching in. I see forklift operators running. This used to be, looks like it might have been a Walmart at one time, actually, itself, this parking lot. All right, let me put the camera back up here somewhere.
Carol left. They're going to a run-a-thon fundraiser. Safe travels, Tim.
Okay. Well, bye, Carol. Thanks for stopping in. So I'm going to back up now and see what else we can get into here. I'd say that's as I swing around here, you see the front of this old store. I'd say that's what all that is too. I see water. I see what may be dog food over there. A pallet full of dog food, maybe.
Some people were taking that up.
There's livestock feed. It says it's probably like sweet grain and that sort of stuff for horses or cattle. Just all kinds of things here for folk. I could stop and interview these guys, I guess, if
they were
paying attention.
I know my buddy was wanting empty jugs and not ibuprofen, epinephrine, EpiPens, and and Benadryl. Because he's distributing out of the New Salem Baptist Church, and
that's in Limestone.
That's in Limestone. They've got tons of stuff, and he actually asked people to start slowing down a little bit what they were bringing, just because he feels like they've got pretty good supply right now. But what
Well, that's good. And
they have shower trailers and porta johns and things set up, and they really need a plumber right now.
yeah, let me
do
tell you a
too.
story about that. Our hot water has been kind of on the blink since power went out there. And when the storm hit us last week on Thursday night and Friday and went into Saturday morning, sometime during that period, our power was off at least for a little while. Most of it, we didn't, and I'm not complaining. We have no complaints compared to most of these folks. And I don't want to sound like I'm poor mouthing us, but ever since then, our water heater has been kind of iffy. It went out once, and I went down to check it and reset the breakers, which weren't popped, and it heated. Then it quit again, and then yesterday, so we called to get somebody to fix it. And so far, we've not been able to find anybody that can come out and do it. And I told Brenda, I said, this is going to be a problem. I mean, even before we knew we couldn't find somebody, I didn't think we would, because plumbers are out. They're in high demand, and they're in other places right now.
They're just having a hard time, just like asking somebody. They said they got money to pay for it. They've got a great big trailer set up that's a shower trailer for people to come take a shower.
Mm-hmm.
And it's I don't know how many, like 10 stalls or so, and they've got plumbing problems now with that shower trailer, and they're begging for somebody to come and do some plumbing.
Yeah.
If I was anywhere close, I'd be there helping. I plumb all the time here at my house, so I ain't a plumber, but
I've hooked up stuff, but I hadn't done it in a long time. I guess I
can saw PVC pipe and put in joints and
put glue on it,
glue it up, and clean it off and glue it up.
Okay, we're finally going into what is the town of Newport. I don't know what you can see if the camera's right angle. If it's not, let me know. But
it's perfect right now. If you could zoom in a little bit, it'd be even perfecter.
I don't know if we can or not with this camera. I'll have to stop and look at it a minute. And see
I think it's working perfect right now.
This is the main drag through Newport. In fact, this is Newport. Either side of this main street right here.
Don't blink.
Is Newport. And I used to come down here when I was, I don't know, elementary school, maybe even as late as high school, with my dad occasionally to work. And because they had a store, the company he worked for 40 years had a little store here in this town, and he would come down here. His job was to do inventory and audit stuff, and he'd come down and have to work. And every once in a while, he would bring me down to Newport with him to help out or just hang around. Probably I didn't have anything else to do. Oh, there's a beer house, neighborhood beer house. Now, that didn't used to be here.
I could have found you something to do.
It's been a few years ago.
Anytime I ever said that phrase, like, I'm bored.
No, you didn't want to say that around my house.
Dad would find me something to do.
Yeah, well, I think that was my mom's usually doing that because she was at home, and when she ran out of things, I think that's probably when he called me. But we used to come down here, and there wasn't much down there. Mark, I think this might have been where I saw my very first rattlesnake in Tennessee.
Here in Newport?
Yeah, I was down. I think this was new. I think it was this store. It could have been Irwin, but I think it was this store. A guy came in and had a delivery guy that was out taking a wash machine out or something. Have a green light, Brenda said. And this guy comes in
telling
it.
Across your bow, man. Take him out.
And this
Protect
guy
and serve, dude.
This is the old train depot on the right here. Anyway, this guy come telling this big story about oh my God, the biggest serpent, telling this big tale. He come in and brought this damn rattlesnake in that at the time I thought was the god awfulest thing I'd ever seen in my life. It was big around as my forearm. You know how they get, big timber rattler, and
Yeah.
it was probably close to 5 feet long. And man, that was a big old snake. And of
And
course, it was.
I assume it was deceased.
Oh yes, it was. I was getting ready to say, and of course, it didn't have a head anymore.
Yeah.
And because that's because that's what you do. Did.
So we've got police vehicles on the. What was that deal?
I don't know, big truck.
Well, it had flashing lights, didn't it?
I don't know. I was
Or
looking
am I
at.
having a stroke?
See flashing lights. You're having a stroke.
Yeah, you're having a stroke. Don't worry, you're just having a stroke. You're all right.
None of the other vehicles have had that going on.
I was going to show you a couple of these old buildings here in town. I don't know what you can see, but I'm going to move this kind of slowly. But check out this old building right here.
Looks like it's made out of stone.
Yeah, it's all stone, and
It also looks like a firehouse.
it might have been at one time. But there's a couple of these around here like this that are on this main drag. I'm backtracking just a little bit because I wanted to show a couple of these buildings. If you go on down the direction I'm pointing the camera in right now, that's where you get to that's where that dog with the beans hangs out and the cornhole people. It's right up the road there a little while. Now, I've been out there, Mark. We went fishing down here one time. Last time you came back east and we went fishing. One day we went back this way to the branch of the river to go fishing back there. We're looking for a spot.
Sounds like you got a rebellion going on.
Me?
What does it go up there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a rebellion for darn sure going on. They're supposed to be eating their breakfast, but they're mostly just whining and hollering. That's what they're doing mostly.
Well, we caught up with the water procession again. Remember that?
Yeah.
Flashing lights.
Now there's some flashing lights.
Now that guy's flashing his lights. I don't care what you tell me.
No, he was. You're absolutely right.
They're hauling water.
And you're going to join their procession?
Well, I'm hoping that we don't have to follow them
Maybe.
too long, but that's the direction I wanted to go. Actually, I'll pull over here just in a minute, let them get ahead of me because I want to make sure the roads where I'm going, the roads aren't closed.
Owen, do you want your other pancake now?
Pancakes? I didn't get pancakes for breakfast.
What's going on right now wouldn't be good for the digestion anyway, so.
Okay.
You'd have to take your pancakes and go sit down by the river.
No, that would be okay. I'm stuck at a red light, in case you're wondering. That's why I'm not moving. we're getting ready to cross the Pigeon River. This is the river that was flooded this town. This is the river that had them evacuate this town. So we'll get an idea if it's still up or not here in a minute.
Big loud horns were sounded off in some town.
You can kind of get an idea of how it looks up through there. You can see all the debris and the fence line and everything. Oops. All right, I'm going to pull over here out of the way a minute where I've got some wide space. So, from here on up, what happened?
It's like hand signals. Oh, he's muted himself.
I imported myself a map earlier today. And I got to figure out what.
With all those hand gestures, Mark.
Well, let's see how far up 321 we can go. I want to go up to. I wanted to go to the Davy Crockett Dam if I can get there. Newport's got some interesting little old houses in it, or not little. Some of them are pretty good size, like that old brick right there. With that interesting staircases and 3 garages. Wow, that's my kind of place. And most of these have been here quite some time along this route.
That one's for sale.
Was it? We should have looked in Newport, I guess.
Golden horses.
There's another big old place on the hill here. These are some of these houses are big because they've added on and added on and added on. Well, other people can hear. Hopefully, if anybody left in chat, I run it by all.
Oh, they're there.
I know this has probably been kind of boring. It's sort of hit or miss.
You're being boring?
I said, I probably am. I said, I know it's kind of hit or miss when I find stuff.
Kind of fuzzy.
I saw a lot of hand gestures, Mark.
From me?
What? Yeah.
What kind of hand gesture?
You said you were doing some kind of hoodoo there for the kids or something.
Well, I just put a big spider on one of my granddaughter's shoulder.
Oh, cool.
Because you can never have too many times where you put a spider on one of your grandchildren.
Never too many times for that.
It wasn't I mean, she's lucky I'm not still the man I was, because it would have been a real one. She's lucky she's not my sister. Who I think hates spiders with a passion, but there's probably a reason for that. She don't like frogs or praying mantises either.
I can remember you. I'm pretty sure I remember a case where you had one of them critters. You put it on her. You came up behind her with it or something. I remember her squealing and running away.
And then I was hunkered in the yard one day with a weed stem, and I was dipping it down to the ground and then eating off of it. And she's like, "What are you doing?" She came over, and I was eating ants.
Oh, God.
And she freaked out.
That's that same bunch.
Human beings have been eating ants for a million years. So
what do they taste like?
they've got formic acid in them, so they're kind of lemony tasting, kind of
Yeah, they're kind of bitter.
they taste like a citrus.
Huh.
Here's the French Broad River.
I wouldn't recommend it to everybody, but it was
That's
funny to watch my sister flip out. So the French Broad looks like it's back in its banks.
Yeah, it pretty much is, and you know, it was up too, and I'm sure it flooded places, but I didn't hear near as much about it. I'm not sure why.
It looks like the woods are still intact along it.
Yeah, it didn't look real bad washed out, did it?
Wait a minute, go back.
Go back there.
Yeah, I'm gonna rewind you. Go back.
Hit the pause button.
So are all these cones related to the storm?
This was probably already being worked on. I don't know about
Were they
that.
doing construction here anyway?
It looks like maybe
that
this
stop
was being
sign for? You just ran a stop sign.
Well, it was the road was closed, so it really wasn't. It just looked like a stop sign.
It was a stop sign.
Well, the road on the other side, I mean, it was closed. There wasn't no traffic.
You did the little Spanish pause there and then went on.
I need a drink, my wife
We
said.
used to call those truck driver stops.
I tell you what that construction is. They've made this road wider. Last time I came up through here, it was still 2-lane.
Seriously?
Seriously. Well, this part might not have been. This looks like it's been here a little while.
So they put in all
that
this
part
new
down through there
infrastructure all over East Tennessee to bring every Yankee from the planet down there to live. And now
Yeah,
it's all and now it's all gone because of the floods.
Well, in part, yeah, some of it, you're right.
I mean, chunks of it.
Well, let me tell you what the plan was, and this is the real thing. I had to deal with this in planning around our lakes. There's a plan somewhere out there, was. I don't know what administration laid all this out when they were governor. But there's a long-term plan in Tennessee to hook every county seat, like Jonesboro, Greenville, if they weren't already connected to the interstate highway system via a 4-lane, that they were going to go in and rape and pillage and cut all the roads out and make it 4-lane. Or put a 4-lane in.
Why?
Because somebody had the bright idea that that'd be better. It'd be good for business. They can move more product that way. You know, they can run more Mountain Dews into these little country towns, I guess. But the plan was to hook all the county seats up to the interstate system for commerce. I mean, and it doesn't make any sense much if you know these places, because there ain't no commerce there. But then again, maybe that's what they were trying to do. But in my opinion, and your opinion, and a lot of other people's opinions, they were just raping and pillaging and ruining the countryside, because they're going through there and blasting and digging and putting up big highways like this in place of where there was a really nice state highway that was, at least as wide as this lane is.
Tina said, "What's wrong with Yankees?"
Who said that?
Tina.
Oh, Tina. Well, if you live down here, you'd understand that. Because Yankees is Yankees.
Tina, there ain't a thing wrong with Yankees as long as they remain Yankees.
And not damn Yankees. You know what damn Yankees are.
My mother and father, they had moved up to northern Appalachia, but Dad was still doing taxes with a local Tennessee firm there,
Oh
where
yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
and so they went down every year, and they got to see the change year by year by year by year by year, and they just ruined that country that you and I grew up in, just
Yeah,
destroyed it.
it's changed so much, man. It's just hard to. It's really hard to believe.
Several girls in.
And the parts that were still looked like they looked like when we were boys,
Cut across.
they've just been destroyed by the flood. So
Yeah, and what I'm afraid of, and this is a serious fear. I'm reading things that makes me really wonder if some of these places will get rebuilt back at any time, and
not in our
my life.
lifetime. So Craig told me that FEMA, they were figuring out how to deal with all the destruction and help all the people that needed help, and FEMA told them they wouldn't even be to Tennessee in like 8 weeks.
Wow.
I hadn't heard that part.
That's 2 months. So you got to.
Yeah.
So Tennessee said, "Well, bite me," and they're doing their own deal.
Well, TEMA is,
And then
not.
FEMA is still trying to put their damn big ass nose in there, and pardon my French.
Well, that's because they got the money.
And tell people what they can and can't bring. My sister's got 3 trailers loaded and pickup trucks full of stuff that she has gathered and scraped and pulled together, and she's on her way here in a few days down there to deliver supplies. And so maybe you can hook up with her when she's down in that part of the world. But
well, that's possible.
That'd be good.
she's I think they're heading down on the 11th, was what I understood. And
Well, I guess I'm going to go this way.
bless her, spider jumping heart.
Yeah, I don't. Craig is probably right in the middle of it. But you're hearing both stories about FEMA and TEMA. Some people are saying that they're here doing their job. Some people are saying they're not. I think it depends on the situation.
I think he's dealing with TEMA.
Yeah, and right now, part of what the government's trying to get involved, trying to mesh with the feds, it's always a pain in the butt. But I'm hearing
you're breaking up, buddy.
Stuff too from people. Okay.
You're breaking up.
All right. What am I doing? Just losing signal? I'm going to move again. Maybe I'll get better. Hang on.
Yeah, you're just doing the green frog thing and twanging everything.
How about now?
You're good now.
I was trying to find a shortcut. I was trying to cut across country a little bit and get on the other side of the river.
What was that daggone store down there by the crossroads down by Deckers?
Yeah, Crossroads. Some people called it Crossroads. I grew up calling it Wiseman's.
Yeah, where we always bought hunting licenses, and there was like 4 gazillion mounted squirrels and whatnot in that building. Yeah, Crossroads. So from there all the way to Irwin, the highway's gone.
A lot of In fact,
it's just not there anymore.
So
all that stuff along the Looking Glass, and I wonder about, because there were a fair number of people, including Dad's buddy that was a taxidermist. Remember him that had like the 411 barefooted children?
I do.
They're all on the other side of the Noachukki, and how are they getting anything?
Well, I don't know because and I do know this much: they did go in and evacuate that area. Now, whether they got back in there or not, I don't know. But I think that bridge is out. The main bridge there across the Noachukki. The bridge that where you were talking about over there at Crossroads, I think
Yeah.
that's the Taylor. That bridge is out, or at least closed.
Well, the highway's gone, dude, from all the
Well,
way from
yeah,
there to Irwin.
it's closed once you get over around the top of the hill, cross past Emerald there. I mean, literally gone, but it's closed all the way through there. I mean, you can't get any of them places. That's part of that's where the big horseshoe is, and that horseshoe, to my knowledge, that horseshoe is currently completely isolated. So if you live back in there, you're stuck.
And there was a few places in there. I don't know. It's probably a daggone subdivision now or something, but there were a few homes in there on that horseshoe. And Watchy's bucket lived across the river on the other side of the river.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure he would be fine because he'll just shoot a black bear or something and be good to go. But
God, what was that guy's name?
I can't remember, but he was sure a neat guy, and his kids were just the most feral children. My grandkids are pretty feral, but those were the most feral children I've ever seen.
Those were pretty feral kids.
Remember, we were back there in the snow one day, and there was mud holes melting out, and those kids were out there barefooted jumping around those mud holes that were snow melt. And just having the time of their lives.
Mountain kids, what can you say?
Yeah, they were just there's a tough little bunch back in there.
Yeah, like Brenda said, they probably never got sick.
Never.
I mean, they probably had a snotty nose sometimes, but that's about it.
When they were, they picked up cow patties and threw them at each other and ate off the mineral block and did whatever.
Sell patties. That was the country frisbee, buddy.
That's right.
Sure, you want to know where you're trying to go.
Well, right now I was trying to go. I'm going up here to where the dam is, where all the flood was on some of the news, and just show you what they're doing up there now that the flood has subsided. They're knocking down
the dam on the Chucky.
Yeah, that's where I was trying to get to. They're not knocking it down. But it had a. If you did see the pictures during the flood, there was an old powerhouse on the lower side of that dam that is where they used to produce electricity.
Right.
For the company that actually owned it before TVA took possession of it or started, managing it and running it and everything. And then so that powerhouse got blasted through what wasn't already blew out even more this week. So they're knocking it down completely. It's going to go away. And I'm sure it's so that they can get in there and reinforce the end of that dam again. Because they're not, as far as I know, there's no discussion of, opening that dam up or anything. It's still just Noachukki has always flooded from time to time, but it's never flooded like this.
You're breaking up, Steve Austin. You're breaking up.
Okay, well, we'll just have to wait till I get a signal.
Okay, you're good now. You're better now.
Somebody said that it was
Robot Tim, exactly, Tina. Robot Tim.
Sorry.
You sound like the dude off of Buck Rogers.
Anyway, they're saying it's
bitty.
Oh, I remember that guy.
Up. You still there? Only I'm here. Hello.
These are to put in your snowball when they're ready. You hate your clients?
No, Tina, it's the Nola Chucky with an N. Nola Chucky. Where'd you go, Tim? Well, I don't have anything to talk about. I don't know what to do with my hands. Nolchucky. Nola Chucky.
No,
There
Chuck.
he is. The Foggy
I'm
Bear's
back.
back. Can you
We
hear
had a
us?
momentary lapse of signal there.
You disappeared it, and I had to entertain.
Well, you did a good job of that.
Yeah, whatever.
Well, you did.
Tiny.
Did you hear what Brenda said? She said you're pretty entertaining.
I'm what?
She said you were pretty entertaining.
Oh. Look at all them cedars and whatnot.
Yeah, look at all that.
Send me some of
This
that
probably
wood.
reminds you of driving in. You probably think we're driving into Opal about
And
now,
you're
don't
not even, you didn't spell it right either.
you? I'm not spelling, Brenda is.
She didn't spell it right either.
Well,
It's
give her hell for that then,
it's
because she's just,
That's what I had.
Nolchucky. But it's a Cherokee word. Who knows how you spelled it?
that's true.
Sequoia could have
Of
told you
course,
how you spelled it.
you know, back when growing up, I'm sure everybody, well, you didn't grow up there all the time, but they always told me that meant the Deadly River or some shit or something like that, pardon the language.
It sure
And
was.
speaking of it, we're going to go across it right now. Wow, look up there. Could you see that island?
We couldn't. We can
How
see
about
that
now?
right there. Holy buckets.
That's the Nolchucky. Oh, I'm handing it to Brenda. She don't want it.
Tina says that the Cherokee spell it not Chuck.
Not Chuck.
And us locals just called it the Chucky.
We just called it the Chucky. That's right. In fact, I didn't even know it was the Nolchucky till I was probably near high school.
Yep. Where are you going fishing today? I'm going to the Chucky.
You know, it's funny. I saw a big sign back there a minute ago. It said Andrew Johnson Visitor Center. But why would that be way down here? Brenda and I, are we still there?
Stepped away.
Okay. You see up front, is it red? Tennessee state animal.
Yep, it's lined
I used to always like to come see this holler right here. I remember the barn. Brenda and I looked at a house out here not too far from here. Up the road a little bit. Red eyes in the sky. Granny's house. I'd like to, wouldn't mind living there. Cutting hay late.
Sorry, disasters in potty training.
Uh-oh. Funny you should mention that.
Why are you having problems too?
No, but this is the kind of thing you run into when you deal with family. I called my cousin yesterday, one of my, that lives up here in Limestone, because I was going to say make sure they were okay. And I didn't think they had any problems because they live off the river, but her mother used to work at the state park, David Crockett State Park.
Yeah.
So I was going to ask her about that and then just check on them, and come find out they don't have any water either. But anyway, I called her, and she'd already put me on hold once because I called her and company had arrived, and she said, "Can I call you back?" So I said, "Sure, I'll be here." So she called me back, and I was in the other end of the library, and I couldn't get to the phone fast enough. And so I called her back, and when she picked up the phone, she said, "Hi." And then she said, "I got to let you go. I got my youngin's constipated. I got to give her some medicine." I thought, well, I didn't really need to know that, did I? So family, what are you going to do?
So is the birthplace gone?
It is gone.
The cabin and everything?
Yep, it's all downriver somewhere. I saw a picture on it last night on the line. I'm hoping to drive by there. I don't know if I'll get there on time, but of course it's all closed down. There's nothing open. They don't really want people showing up at the park. But I was hoping we could just drive by somewhere on a nearby road. Is that the house we looked at, babe? I think it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
The log house right back there that Brenda and I came down and looked at when we were looking for houses. Anyway, the only thing that's left, the campground got scoured. Honestly, how the river, where the cabin was, it was kind of on a level up on the bank, and then you dropped off the bank, and that's where down towards the river there were picnic tables and stuff down there years ago. And there actually used to be a big pavilion down there, and that's where they did the Davy Crockett Days music and talent show back when I was growing up. Well, all that got washed out. The plain area up there on top where the cabin was looks like your country. And by that I mean flat and sandy.
It's muted itself. He's still dealing with something.
So it's pretty devastated. I don't know that we'll be able to see it, but it's pretty messed up.
He said TMI. About the constipation.
TMI. Well, that's kind of what I thought, Tina.
She said, yeah, the owner of the campground was on the news. People are paying for nights to stay there, even though they can't go, just to get them back on their feet.
Well, good. I'm glad that's happening. That's mountain folk for you. That park up there is a big deal to the local people, and there's some concern, I think, that it may not get rebuilt anytime soon. And that's what I heard from one of the state park and rec people. And that right now it's kind of like this. We know everybody wants us to reopen the park, but chances are this one's going to be like this at least for a long time. And that's a shame because there's not that much there. It wouldn't be like they have to go in and build all new buildings and everything. It's just the campground. Well, there's probably bathhouses. The visitor center is all that's left. The Davy Crockett cabin, which was a
Mark is gone and he is muted. Now he is back.
The Davy Crockett birthplace cabin, which is a replica of the original, Had
He
been there.
prefers David.
Do what?
David.
He prefers
He prefers
David.
David Crockett. Yes, I try to say David Crockett, but I forget. Um, it's washed. It's gone. It's like we probably just passed on there in the sandbar. Where it is. I mean, it's. I'm sure it went over the dam. They probably saw it float by. That place had been there since I was a kid. I don't know when they actually built that cabin. I mean, it was rebuilt cabin, the original. It wasn't. It wasn't the original. It was
No, but it was an
rebuilt.
original cabin that they moved
Yes,
from another location to that location.
that's correct. Yes, that is correct.
And
It was an old cabin.
it wasn't like there was a lot of models that you could go do whatever. You know, like I want the perfect princess cabin. You just
Right.
build a log house.
Okay, guys.
I used to be amazed going in there when I was a kid because it was so small. And I mean, to me, it seemed small, and that's just how they were.
And he probably slept outside half his life.
Well, that's true too. He probably did.
Well, I mean, you know, everybody did. You like all the boys got kicked. Like you, the summertime, you get kicked out of the house and go sleep outside.
Right.
That happened even when we were boys.
Well, when you put a whole gang of kids like they tended to have, and you put them
Like
in one
like the house full I've got right now, I'd have put half of them outside if they were older.
put
Because
them out on the front
it's
porch,
still warm here,
so they can go outside. Kick them out to the porch and let them sleep out there. Give them a
like
bed.
here's you a bedroll. Get your butt out there and sleep out there in the yard.
That's right. Here's a blanket. Roll you up something for a pillow and sleep out there tonight.
And we have real canvas bedrolls that you could that have a little foam mattress in them that you can sleep pretty comfortable even if it's raining. So
You did or you do?
we do.
Cool.
And by warm, I mean above freezing. Exactly, Tina.
Anything above freezing is fair game.
That's warm.
I slept out one time, and all I had was a poncho to sleep under. And I'll never forget, I woke up the next morning, and that thing was froze solid, stiff as a board all surrounding me. I think the only part that wasn't frozen was where my breath was coming out around the hood.
I used to do that in my grandmother's house upstairs. You'd have frost on the outside of your blanket where you had covered up with it like an old quilt or whatever.
Yeah.
There'd be frost on the outside of that quilt. That was back in the day.
That's cold.
How much is gas back there? It's $2.55 here at the marathon.
What's that?
How much is your gas out there now?
Oh, it's way over $3 a gallon.
That right back there was a marathon station. It was $2.55.
They're giving away free,
I wish.
There's another place Brenda said that had water.
free water.
I remember when it was like 75 cents a gallon.
Oh, me. Well, I remember when it was less than that.
50 cents a gallon, I remember.
Lowest gas I ever bought in my life was I filled my motorcycle up one day. It was 19 cents a gallon.
Holy buckets.
That was back when they used to have what we call gas wars.
and then you drove like 5,000 miles on that little tank of regular gasoline with all the lead and all the good stuff in it.
Oh, yeah. All that stuff. Yeah, that was way before no lead or low lead
Right.
or unleaded, I guess to be correct. Okay, I'm going to pull over here again just for a minute.
I agree with you, Tina. If it's not cold, I can't. Sleep doesn't come easy.
No, I'm like that too.
No heat in my room. I can't sleep if it's not cold.
When you just said something about your grandmother's. We used to go stay at my mom's, and this was kind of a big old rambling sort of a house. Not a big house. It was one level. And we slept, when we'd go visit, usually we slept in sort of a lean-to part of the house. And that was the lean-to was where all the brothers slept, I guess,
Yeah.
growing up. When they got older, and I used to love to go over there in the wintertime because it would be cold in there, but we'd be sleeping in these old feather beds that were these old feather beds and under these piles of quilts and blankets, and I just thought that was a great adventure. But boy, was it cold in there. There was never any heat.
So my grandparents had one of them great big old iron-footed standalone kind of stoves that you could feed coal or wood to. And that was in their bedroom. And then the living room had a fireplace in it that they burned some coal in occasionally just to keep the rest of the house warm. And then grandma was always cooking something in the kitchen. It was always pretty toasty. But upstairs in that big 2-story farmhouse of theirs, there was never any heat. And so
Nope.
you went up there, and it was like you bundled up in whatever was available, and I always woke up in the wintertime with frost on the outside of the blankets. And that's just the way it was.
That's just the way it
And
was.
now I look at it like I would have had like a Hudson Bay wool blanket and a buffalo robe, and I'd have been fine.
Well, that part of the house I was talking about at my grandmother's, I don't think it had. She had a big old coal furnace down. They dug a cellar under her house.
So she had the big monster in the basement.
She had the big monster in the basement, and my uncles would come over there every morning. The one that lived next door, and they'd feed the monster. Because they always woke me up in the middle of the night or early in the morning, banging on that thing and filling the
Getting all the
shoveling
clinkers out.
Yeah, getting the clinkers out and shoveling coal into that thing, and it wasn't what they call that when it's finer for a stoker coal. It was big chunks of coal.
Yeah.
They had a chute outside, and they'd get a truck over, and they'd just dump it into the cellar. And
I have one of those in my house right now.
But you don't use coal in it, though, do you?
No, the first thing we did when we bought this place was remove that coal furnace and put a gas furnace in. I'm like, I am not burning. I'm not feeding coal.
No.
I'm not. I've shoveled coal my whole life, and I'm like, I am not shoveling coal.
Look here, Mark.
What am I looking at?
There's a Hardee's.
You still don't see it?
I don't see it. Is it a Hardee's?
A Hardee's, buddy. Right there.
You devil.
You want me to drive by there and just see if you can see it?
Yeah, turn around and go back. I want to see it again.
I can drive through and ask them if I can put my camera in there. Maybe you can just see them make it.
Ask them if they could send some steak biscuits to the Carl's Jr. in Green River, Wyoming.
I can't I can't believe they don't know how to make biscuits out there, steak biscuits anyway.
Well, it's just silly.
It is silly. Especially when they got people back here that can make them perfectly well, that could make them for them out there too.
That is really weird. It must be some kind of lights that, as you're filming, some of the lights on those, especially on pickup trucks, look like they're flashing. Like, you know how those flashing lights are on motorcycles?
Yeah.
And it's just,
Well, it may be it's probably the way the camera's picking it up, because certain lights, I noticed earlier that the signs at the gas station were flashing on the camera, but they weren't flashing, in real life.
right. Yeah, it's just
So,
odd. And most of the vehicles with their lights on aren't doing that. It's just certain vehicles come through there and they're like, they look like they got wigwags going on, like a
it
long
might
course.
it might be. I didn't think of this till just now, but it might be newer vehicles that have like LED light systems in them or something. That might be what it is.
And Tina
'Cause
says
they
it's the
operate.
exposure rate.
It's what?
The exposure rate.
Yeah. That's why when you see them, you film a television, for example, with your on and put it on YouTube, the TV's usually, flipping.
Yeah.
When it wasn't in real life, it's just the exposure rate and everything with
Right.
the camera and the computer and all that crap. So.
But it's interesting that it only happens to certain vehicles.
Yeah, I'm thinking that must have something to do with the light frequency of the vehicle.
Those are probably the people that really, I was going to say one thing, but I'll say hack me off of a night when I'm driving.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you son of a buck, why do you have your brights on? And I hit them with my brights, and they hit me with their brights.
And then it's a light war.
Like those blue lights they got now, those bluish colored like headlights. Man,
Yeah.
those kill me at night. Like, that's a good time to hit a deer.
Yeah, it is. Wow, look at that water, that pond.
The only deer I've ever hit with my vehicle was because of that. So
Really?
And it was a great big ginormous buck, and it just trashed my truck.
Was that out there or back here somewhere?
Right there by my old house. I was 2 miles from the house, and semi truck come over the hill like with his. He did have his brights on, and it was raining that night, and he didn't turn them off, and all of a sudden there was a ginormous deer right at the center of my hood waiting on me.
You probably can't see this either, but up ahead
Helicopter.
there's a helicopter. Looks kind of like a military style UH-60 Black Hawk or something. So
they're hauling a bunch of stuff in there, buddy.
Yeah.
Plus, like you sent out to me, I'd seen it a few times. We got boys with mule trains hauling stuff into North Carolina with mules.
Yeah.
I mean, like 20 mule 20 mule pack strings.
Well, they can't get in there.
And that's the only way they can get to those people, and they're hauling supplies into those folks with mules, which is just, to me, is just perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not perfect. Those poor people, I love that they're using low-tech solutions for high-tech disasters.
Some people couldn't believe it. They were like, they're using mules.
Well, you know, back here too,
We did that for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and thousands of years, and
Yeah.
fortunately, a few people still know how.
it works.
Fortunately, there's still a few people that know how, or that wouldn't even be able to do that for them. You know, there's companies back here. There's a company in, I don't know, I guess they're in Gatlinburg or someplace like that. I can't remember where they're based. Sevier County, someplace that uses llamas, and they take.
No.
Well, I know, but they do here. Let me just tell you what it is, though. That's how they take supplies into the mountains for the lodge up on top of the mountain, LeConte. They can't get to it any other way unless it's set by helicopter. So they have there's a guy has I guess a contract with the.
Well, they could use a real animal and haul an actual load in.
Well, they could, but these
llamas
guys
can't carry crap.
I don't know why they choose to do that versus a mule or something, but that's what they've got. So they could be using some of them too.
If you're a horse person, If you're a horse person, you know what llamas do.
What do llamas do?
Probably something you don't want to say on.
Well, they'll get you bucked off if you ain't careful. The darn things evolved together, and you'd think that a horse would know what a llama was and vice versa, but
yeah,
that ain't
okay.
so.
We're getting ready to cross the bridge. We're getting ready to cross the bridge here where the dam is. Let me see if I can get my camera in position. See all the construction vehicles?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't drop down. See where they're working right here. There's the dam.
Holy crap.
Wow. There's the old powerhouse. See how it's blown out?
Yeah.
Now the
side you're passing right now was the part I was worried about blowing.
Well, and you know what? It didn't blow out, but you see how it was cut back into the bank?
Yeah, cut way back into the bank.
Way back into the bank. So it did do some serious damage. You help me watch that. I'm supposed to turn right there. We're coming up in a little bit. It's right down here, isn't it?
Well, there's a lot more stuff. There's a lot more stuff and little roads going off to the side and things than I remember.
Yeah, well, we're still kind of in the edge of Greenville here. But the thing is, it's mostly just right here on the road. It doesn't spread out. You know, there's still farmland back behind all these places, as this is. Yep. Quick turn. Harmon Road. We're going to go across here and see if we can't go in the back way to another part of the Nolechucky. I might lose you through here.
Your eyeglasses are ready for pickup. Eyeglass World.
My glasses are ready.
Brenda we got new glasses, and they just called Brenda to let her know hers were here.
Does she have them in her hands?
No, we'll have to go get them.
Then they ain't here.
Well, they're in Knoxville. Let me restate that. They came into the eyeglass dealer.
Got it. So you still got to go clear to Knoxville for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I was hoping the plumber had called.
She was hoping it was the plumber, but no such luck there.
Look at that God's country right there.
Yeah. See, this still looks like you remember it, don't it?
That looked like a daggone big old black locust tree growing right on the edge of the road.
No, it probably was. I wasn't looking at the
like they're supposed to. Yeah, this reminds me of home.
Yeah, me too. Let's see. I'm not sure what road.
Thank God there's still some of that left.
Yeah, no kidding.
John's in the room.
Hey, John. Hope you don't get car sick, buddy. We're driving.
He's watching the Devils in Czechoslovakia.
Oh yeah, they're on TV right now. That I heard they were playing in Europe. That's what Phil told me.
Tina said Chuck and her watched those yesterday.
Hockey?
Yeah, they're playing hockey in Europe right now for some reason. American teams are over, I guess, doing exhibition games
So
or
the
something.
Devils are playing the Czechs.
I think the
Czech Republic.
I think the Predators are over there playing somebody tonight. Or maybe it's today and it's on here tonight. I don't know how that. There's the Cowboy Church.
This is weird because those cars look like they were coming on our side of the road.
John's brother's got cattle missing.
Oh, does he?
Or he has cows now and didn't have them before.
That could be too. That happens.
I deal with that almost every day. Oh, look, I got like 25 head of Black Angus on me.
Oh, yeah. Or look, my horses are over there on somebody else's field.
And the Devils are playing the Buffalo Sabres.
Well, whoever's talking hockey, what?
So they're over there playing in Europe, but playing American teams.
Well, ask her when the Predators play, because I know they're playing sometime. Or at least according to Philip. I didn't look it up. Philip told me that last night.
Is that your saber-toothed cats?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The National Predators.
Come here, you. Come here. Come here. Come here and say hi. You might as well say hi to the TV. Say hi, Uncle Tim.
Hi there. Who we got?
Boone.
Hey, Boone.
He's my Boone companion. Did you say hi? Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Hello, Boone.
Where's your daddy right now?
He's at home.
He's out there hunting antelope. That's what he's doing. Yeah, he dropped you off here and he went hunting.
Hey, Boone. Hey, Boone, do you like to go hunting with Papa Z?
Hey. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that because you get to eat white powder donuts?
Are you eating your tongue right now?
No.
Oh, no. Okay. He's gone. He's gone.
He's gone. Okay.
He's doing the sharp-tailed grouse dance right now, though.
Oh, cool. He know that on his own.
And roaring like a dinosaur. Holy buckets.
His Aunt Caitlin used to do a mean
I got a passel today. Check out these beads. Ooh. There you go. Off you go.
Did she leave?
She gone.
She gone.
Friends play tonight at 5.
Oh, okay.
I'm wanting them to get some clothes on and go out and wrestle in the yard or something.
Is it?
If you want to go see the chickens, you need to
How long does it say?
Go get your clothes on, bud, if you want to go see chickens.
I'm gonna try to get up here just a little bit further before I run out. Probably gonna run out of batteries here in a minute on my computer, so we may be about done. We may be about done anyway.
Socks.
I was hoping to get up here at least one more spot, but that won't do any good on the computer. I don't know if there's a plug-in for that anywhere. Not there might be.
The Predators season starts on 10/10
That's the regular season.
against the Dallas Stars.
It's the Dallas Stars.
They have hockey teams in Louisiana now, for crying out loud.
There's hockey teams all over the South now. I can't remember if there's the pro team down there yet. There might be in New Orleans this year. There might be a new team down there this year.
We actually have ice here, and we don't have one.
And you've actually got ice.
We could have real hockey on real ice, but no. When you only have 450,000 people in your entire state, it's hard to get a hockey team.
Yeah, it's true. You're probably right about that.
If they keep having grandbabies, you might have your team.
We got 6 of them now, so I think that's good. I think we're good. We can at least play 6-man/woman football.
Do they play that up there too?
6-man?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
I knew that was a big thing in Texas, and New Mexico.
Dusty Tuckness, the goat of all bullfighters. He of cowboy protection guys. He was a 6-man football player.
Really?
Out of Matitsi.
Cool. Nobody, if you guys remember, that's where they found the black-footed ferrets, were in Matitsi.
That's it. Yeah. I remember when I was in grad school and living in southwest New Mexico that the Lordsburg, Animas, New Mexico, which was the closest quote unquote town to where I lived, they had the world championship 6-man football team out of Animas, New Mexico that one year.
I think I remember seeing the sign for that down there along the road on one of my visits out there.
You're playing both sides of the ball in hardcore football.
Yeah. It's an interesting you want to play football pretty bad when you come up with new rules and play it like that at that level.
Yeah.
And be pretty damn good at it. I mean, I'm sure.
John said there was an 8-man team in Pine Bluffs.
Oh, really?
Which is, right over there in the southeast corner of the state. I bet there was a bunch of 8-man teams in Nebraska. A lot of these guys, like Dusty Tuckness, they played football in Wyoming and in Montana. Their conference had teams from Montana and Wyoming in it. And
wow, they had to travel then.
So they had to travel pretty far away, actually. Clear out to like southeast Montana, which is a drive from Matitsi. So, lost the signal.
Go sit right there, buddy. Right here. Yes, just like that. That's perfect. story of everybody's.
I don't know where he went, guys.
He went upstairs 'cause he said his shoes were up. It's kind of a mess up there. Owen, do you need help?
Their battery must have died.
Where's your socks that I gave you? Okay.
And I'm gonna leave the studio since I don't have anything to talk about, and they're gone. Maybe they'll be back. We'll check back in.
I don't know who's out there, if anybody. Tina. I'm trying to find a place to type, guys. Can you hear me? Tina, let me know if you can hear me. Looks like I'm live. Tina said I'm here. Okay, I guess everybody else has probably left by now. We ran, the battery went dead, and everything died, guys. And I can't seem to turn my camera around for another view. So you can't see me unless I do this. So if anybody is left, sorry about that. And I'll see you guys next week. Thanks for hanging out with us today and doing this experiment. Um, we'll make our way back home and see y'all again next time. Thanks for being there. Love you guys. Take care. Have a good weekend. Enjoy some hockey, Chuck.